Howdy. Welcome back to Dion Talk. In this video, what I want to do is talk to a couple of investors who reached financial freedom, starting out from a position very much like mine, working full-time, raising kids, and investing. And while I know Michael Zuber from One Rental at a Time uses property managers, we did a video a few weeks ago where we talked about you either start out managing your properties and your tenants or managing your property manager. So that is a lot of time to invest into your future. So I'm curious, I've got Michael Zuber from One Rental at a Time and Matt, the Lumberjack Landlord here. As investors with all of those other things going on, tell me, what is your work-life balance and how did you keep your sanity? Let's start with Matt. Tell me how that's working out for you.
Work-life balance is horrible right now. But yeah, I mean, I think that, for me, what I was happy doing was just the grind. So I was a 100-hour-a-week W-2 employee. Yeah, it was unpleasant, but it was a means to an end, which was I wanted to get out of the game as fast as I could. And the only way that I could do that was become smarter and work longer doing it so I could get through the years faster, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think that when you are trying to get something on track, you run a business. Mike's run companies and run sales divisions. When you're trying to get something on track, it is impossible to have a work-life balance. Well, I make sure that I get away at least a week every 3 to 4 months. Yeah. I went 7 years without 4 concurrent days off, so, and that's okay. That's life. But I think that the real key is, and the mystery behind this for me is I worked that crazy. I worked that hard, but it was with the idea that eventually I would reach it would swing the pendulum to a much better life balance, i.e. I look forward to the day where, every day is Saturday, Mike. And I look forward to the day where my kids are like, hey, daddy, let's go to breakfast. And I'm not like, gotta go to work, so I look forward to those days. I look forward to those currently 1 or 2 days a week I get like that. But I think that a lot of people need to recognize, and again, they don't have to do it the way that I did it, but I did it with a very hard pendulum to the right. And now my pendulum is swinging back to the left, which is really nice because I'm still broken enough that I can't sit still for 2 or 3 days in a place without I'm still looking at the market because I'm broken or not broken. Anyway, you look at it, but that's my life. My work-life balance has always been a struggle because I want to get to my goal and get there that much faster, which is not just financial freedom of, I don't have to go to work, but financial freedom of I don't have to go to work W-2 type of work, but I can also do anything I want. And if I look at the spreadsheet and the exercise that Mike took us through 4 months ago, I need something like 400 units. So I'm nowhere close. Just to afford my wants. Yeah, I had some big dreams. That's all. I had a lot of wants and I like those things. But again, I think that work-life balance, I think largely, if you want that, that's fine. I don't think that's a bad thing. But for me, my pendulum was all the way to the right and now we're swinging back to the left.
So I have this video on the difference between financial independence and financial freedom. And financial independence is when your income is not dependent on a W-2 job. Yep. And financial freedom is when you don't have to think about the money that you're going to spend. There is a big difference there.
Yeah, absolutely there is. Yeah.
And I really like the concept, and you guys probably know where the quote is from, of live the life no one's willing to so that you can live the life no one can. And that's what it sounds like. It's pretty much kind of what mine looked like too, where you work those 80, 100-hour weeks to get to the point where work became optional. How's it looking like for you, Mike?
Software sales guys or salesperson in general, kind of the same deal, right? We worked ridiculous hours, extreme stress. I had a career where I could have been fired every 90 days for lack of performance. It's a gauntlet. It's extremely high stress. It's not for the weak minded. It's a tough living. So I was all in during the day, and the day was kind of 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. because I've always been a morning person. So it was 12-hour days, easy. That's not including plane flights, which plane travel for me was horrible because I'm a horrible travel and I did 1 million miles. So go figure. I mean, plane travel is really stressful for me. So yeah, quality of life for those first 15 years was atrocious. The plan was always to get done early, right? That's what we agreed to. There were a couple of non-negotiables every year, like my daughter's birthday, my wife's birthday. We always tried to make Christmas, but that didn't work at half the companies because the fiscal year was January or December 31st, which I remember one Christmas I had like 3 hours to do gifts and celebrate. And then I went to the office and, met with lawyers to go over a contract. So no, my work life, I had no balance. It was work first. It was work often. That said, back to episode number 1, I still found 20 minutes a day to look at my market, and we didn't have smartphones back then. So I found a way to get it done. And, my goal with my portfolio was to find deals and secure capital. I was very lucky to have a supportive spouse that would do the extras, run the books, communicate with property managers. So she definitely removed a lot of the management, but I was always the bad guy, right? If we had to fire somebody, it was me. We fired the first 5 property managers. And I remember one time waking up at like 3 a.m. in Japan to fire a property manager. So I got like 2 hours of sleep, did that, couldn't sleep, and had to get up and do the next thing. So there was no work-life balance. And again, we didn't know anybody that had done this before. I had no role models, no examples. I was just leaning over, pushing a hard rock, trying to get the next deal. The One Rental at a Time book the title is no joke. I was always focused on the next one. And again, part of that's because Olivia took care of the operation. So I didn't really have to do much there. So I'm truly blessed, truly lucky for that. But now that I've, my life changed February 1st of 18. It's now financial freedom is here, financial independence, whatever you want to call it. And I have no work-life balance the other way. I get to do whatever I want all the time. I choose to focus on everybody else for a couple hours in the morning from about 6 to 9 o'clock because Olivia's just stirring by 9 o'clock. I'll work out after that for an hour usually. And then Olivia and I do whatever we want the rest of the day. So I have a wonderful, I guess it's no balance again because I don't have work, right? I don't consider what I do now work. And I think Matt joked about every day is Saturday. I truly have if I didn't have this YouTube channel, I would have no flipping clue what day it is. No clue. And that's only because I knew who I talked to, right? I talked to you two on Thursday. It must be Thursday. I mean, that's how I know what day it is. I'm really lucky, but again, it goes back to your quote, right? I did something that no one else would really want to do longer than most people realize. And it paid off. And now lots of people want to live this life, but they don't want to do the work. I'm
going to take a soundbite out of that. You just called yourself lucky. I love it. You have to think back a second.
Oh my God, I said the word lucky. Oh, shoot.
Like, that's why you guys say blessed.
Oh, no.
That's why you guys say blessed.
So yeah. I'll play the clip again right here.
It's, I'm really lucky.
Oh,
yeah.
So I
man.
wish I was as motivated as you guys are to build a portfolio of 70-ish units, wanting to get to 400, 180 units, still growing. And someday I may be that motivated.
But not today.
But I'm not. I'm not, I call myself lazy, but it's super busy. Raising 3 kids as a single parent, I lost my job in the Marine Corps because they downsized after Desert Storm. In 2008, the recession hit, the police department shrank, so I got laid off again. So up until 40, I basically lived until 40 without ever having $1,000 in the bank.
Oh.
But I was a regular working person raising kids. And so my schedule was, evenings off, weekends off, and I would see my kids a lot. When I started investing at 40, it really didn't change much. I don't invest the way that you guys do. I rented out my house and moved to an apartment. That was 2 years of getting rental income on my tax return so that my debt to income ratio would look good enough to buy a property. I bought a duplex and moved into one side. It was 2 years again until the next purchase. So now we're 4 years in and I've moved twice to an apartment to the duplex. And at 4 years, I bought another duplex. And then at just under 6 years, I bought another duplex. And then I focused on paying off the house. So I reached financial freedom by doing one thing, really, as far as a purchase goes, every couple of years. So I've usually been able to maintain kind of the same work-life balance. I really love, like I said, when I found the book, it was years after I'd started investing. But in One Rental at a Time, you talk about, 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, all the way through. That's really the amount of work I did. Investing and buying a property every 2 years wasn't making offers every day and having inspections every day. And I was managing just a few tenants. So even now, after 10 years of investing, I only have 16 units. But my cash flow is 3 times what it cost me to live. And
that's the secret right there, folks. You don't need hundreds of units. What drives, so this is a pet peeve of mine. And I'm sorry to interrupt, Dion, but this is important. A lot of entrepreneurs say that they want to be entrepreneurs. They want to do hundreds of thousands of units because they want to spend time with family. I hear that a lot. And then I ask them what their goals are. And they want to do 500, 1,000, whatever the number is. It's some stupid number. And I'm like, where's the family? You're going to be working 10 hours. Not that those numbers aren't great, but you just told me the goal is to spend more time with family. That's one of the reasons that, yes, Olivia and I are still growing, but I am doing less work now than I did the first 15 years because I got what I got and I'm already living below my means. It is already more than I don't have the need for a Lambo and of this and of that. I'm good every day, Saturday. And, unless I do something stupid, it stays that way. So I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, I was glad you jumped in. That was a good point. My brother reached financial freedom with 10 properties and
that's great.
They're paid off. He doesn't want to buy any. He hasn't bought another one in the last, he's been retired for over 6 years now. And what is frustrating is he doesn't have a YouTube channel. So he doesn't know what day of the week it is. But worse, he doesn't know what time of day it is. I get the phone call at 2:30 in the morning. Hey, you want to go to breakfast? Sure.
What?
In 5 hours. I don't know if he's going to bed or waking up, which is a great lifestyle to pursue.
Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and for those of you who are wondering, Mike made the Lambo comment because that's what I am. I want the Lambo.
Yeah, the Lambo. Yeah, that's on your choices list.
It totally is. It's on my wants list. It absolutely is. I love cars. I've always loved cars. When I was broke, I saved up to get nice cars. Like it was just the way it was. But yeah, for me,
no offense, dude. You better start eating vegetables because you're gonna have a hard time fitting in one.
Yeah. Hey, good news. That's always a goal. Like a nice suit, it's fitting into the car.
There you go.
The good news is I do fit. I checked.
Oh, you checked. Okay, good.
Yeah, I checked. I do fit. Yeah, exactly. I was like, no, I'm not buying anything. I'm just making sure I know that I can fit when I'm ready to buy it. I'm getting fitted for a Lamborghini.
Getting fitted for a Lambo.
That's a really good point about getting the car that you want. And for me, and I get into an argument with this in all of the Facebook groups about financial independence. Financial freedom and financial independence for me has nothing to do with being frugal. I eat out all the time. I watch every movie that comes out, and hopefully they come out with some good ones finally. I spend a month a year in either Colombia, Thailand. This year I'm driving around the country for a month with my brothers. The goal is to make enough money so that when you spend money like that, the freedom comes from not worrying about it. And yes, right. To be very clear, those first few years of investing, that was not the case. Those are the frugal years. You have a couple, maybe 4.
Yes.
But once the income snowball kicks in and that cash flow is there, it is okay to enjoy life.
Absolutely.
So,
very cool.
Awesome. I want to thank you both for taking the time to do this. Matt, if somebody wants to get a hold of you and ask questions so that we could talk about them on Thursdays in the Three Amigos, how would they get a hold of you?
LumberjackLandlord.com or LumberjackLandlord on YouTube. Comment on the videos. Comment on these guys' videos because I will usually answer.
Nice.
That's funny.
And Mike, if somebody wants to ask you some questions, how can they get a hold of you?
Go to your Google search bar, type in One Rental at a Time. You should see YouTube, book, website, Instagram, all that stuff.
Awesome. Thank you both. Until my next video, thanks for coming to my Dion Talk.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.